Hello, anyone, everyone, and no one. My name is SlackLizard, and welcome back to another episode of A Farm of the Week. This week on Farm of the Week, we are going to be going over a flying machine, a wool farm. This is one of those times where on Bedrock Edition, I would say we have the advantage in this type of farm because we have moving tile entities, aka we can move dispensers and chests and hoppers with flying machines. Through all of our testing, we've seen that this farm can produce anywhere between 20, 22, 24, 26 stacks of wool per hour. Now, of course, results are going to vary because the tick speed in Bedrock Edition is pretty random at this point in time in the game. All that being said, we would love to hear your feedback on this episode of Farm of the Week. What do you like about this farm? What do you dislike about this farm? And if you have any ideas for future farm videos on the channel, make sure to let us know down in the comments below. That being said, let's get a materials list together and let's get on with this week's tutorial on a Farm of the Week. As with all farms on our channel, pretty much everything we build is chunk aligned. So as you can see here behind us, we have a single chunk already mapped out here, and I've marked one of the corners here with a red block. This is where we are going to be starting each section of our build from. So starting from our corner marker block here, we're going to place down a double chest like so. We're going to switch over to our hoppers and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hoppers, all leading into each other, leading up to our chest right here. We're going to swing around here to the other side and we're going to place in 2 hoppers going into the first row of hoppers that we got there. So if we take a look at all of our hoppers, everything leads back to our double chest over here. From here, we're going to go ahead and grab some building blocks of choice and we're going to place in building blocks all along this edge here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to come around here to the back of our hoppers and we're going to place in 12 building blocks like so. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And of course, including this block right here, we're going to go over a total of 6 blocks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to go ahead and fill all of this in. Now, after you've got all of that filled in, we're going to go ahead and add in our rails and we're going to go ahead and power all of them. So we're going to come around here to the back side of our chunk border and we're going to place in 1 block right there, followed up by 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to come around here and we're going to put 6 levers all the way across here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're all now powered. And we're going to come over here to the other side and we're going to do this exact same thing. So we're going to come out 1 block, place that, and then 6 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to grab our levers, place all of them in place, and turn all of them on. After you have all of those in place, we're going to come back up here, take a look, make sure that everything's right, which everything looks good, and we're going to grab our powered rails. So now we're going to place 1, 2, and 3 powered rails, and we're going to do that in front of every one of these. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. The reason we're opting for 3 here is because if you play on a multiplayer server, sometimes you can get lag and minecarts can get slowed down. So it's best to have that little bit of extra oomph when you're launching everything off. So now that we have our 3 powered rails in on this side, we're going to do the same thing on this side. So 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, all the way across all of these here. And after that, we're just going to grab our regular rails and we're going to connect these rows up. We're opting for multiple minecarts in this collection system because if you choose to put 32 sheep into this, which I probably will, you may end up with a sheep of different colors. You may have 2 blue, 2 yellow, 2 green, 2 this, and 2 that. And if you were to opt for only one individual minecart, that could potentially cause issues when you're trying to unload everything, aka get all your items into collection. The more minecarts in this situation, the better. That's why we're chunk aligning things. So hopefully we don't have the issues of our minecarts and or a sheep despawning. So once you've got all of your rails in place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you now have your minecart hoppers in place to collect everything. So now that we have our collection system in place, we're going to go ahead and put in our grass layer to hold all of our sheep. So above every one of these rails, we are going to put in a block of grass until you get something that looks about like this. Now from here, we're going to go out 1 additional layer of grass all the way around this farm. This is going to help our grass respread once all of our sheep are in here and consuming on the grass. Now that you've got all of your grass in place, we're going to go ahead and grab our fences, and we're going to put a row of fences all the way around on this outer layer that we just added in. And once we've got that in place, let's switch back over to our grass blocks and put a piece of grass above every fence. And once that's all said and done, you should end up with something that looks just like this. You have your collection system down below. You have a layer of grass. You have a layer of fences and a layer of grass up above that. Now that we have our storage module and our collection system in place, we're going to go ahead and put in the backbone of our flying machines here. So starting from our red block corner here, we're going to go ahead and come out to a temporary blocks from that corner. From here, we're going to place in our first building block of choice, followed up by our second one there, and we can put a piece of obsidian there. From here, we're going to go ahead and place in two more blocks right here. We're going to grab a temporary block and we're going to place that at the very end. From here, we're going to put a building block of choice there. We're going to come back, put a temporary block there, building block of choice there, temporary block right here, and then of course a piece of obsidian there, followed up by a building block of choice. Additionally, coming around here to this side, we're going to place in a temporary block right there, and we're going to put in a block of obsidian right there. That block of obsidian there is going to stop our flying machine from flying off into the distance on the other side. Now that we've got that in on this side, let's go over here and do the same thing on this side. So starting from our corner block right here, we're going to come out two additional blocks. We're going to use two building blocks of choice, followed up by a piece of obsidian, two more building blocks of choice, followed up by a temporary block. From there, we're going to grab our building block, one on top of that, temporary block, building block, temporary block, obsidian, followed up by a building block. Of course, swing around here to the other side, temporary block, and obsidian. Now we can go ahead and remove all of our temporary blocks, and we are ready to add the redstone to this circuit. So now that we've got all that in place, let's go ahead and put in our on-off circuit for our flying machine. We're going to start over here at our red block corner here, and we're going to place in a sticky piston right here. From here, we're going to go ahead and grab a lever, come around to the backside, and power this on. We're going to grab some slime now, and we're going to go out 3 slime blocks like so, 2 like this. From here, we're going to grab a redstone torch. We're going to put a redstone torch right there. We're going to grab a repeater coming out of that, and then we're going to have 2 additional repeaters going into this block right here. We're going to go ahead and make these 2 repeaters on a 4-tick delay. We're going to grab a piece of redstone dust and place that right there, followed up by a redstone torch right here. Once that's all in place, we're going to grab 2 more pieces of redstone dust and we're going to place them across the top like so. Now we're going to go over here to the other side and we're going to do the same thing, with the exception that we are not going to be powering the piston. So we're going to place in our piston. We're going to place in 1, 2, 3 slime blocks like so. We're going to place in an additional 2 like so, and the top part of this is done. From here, we're going to place a redstone torch right there, followed up by our repeater, and then of course 2 additional repeaters going into this block right here. We're going to go ahead and set those both on a 4-tick delay, put a piece of redstone dust on top of that, grab a redstone torch, place that right there, and of course get 2 more redstone dust, 1 right there and 1 right there. Now at this point, this is all good to go. So now we need to come over here back to our red block corner and start building our flying machine. So starting over here at this corner, we're going to begin by grabbing 2 observers. We're going to put an observer looking at that slime block there, followed up by another observer looking into this slime block here. From here, we're going to grab honey blocks and we're going to put 1 honey block there, followed up by number 2, 3, and 4 until we get back over here to this repeater. We're going to place in a temporary one to get across here to the front side, knock out the temporary one, so we now have 1 right there. From there, we're going to go ahead and come out 2, 3, and 4. While we're already at this point, let's go ahead and knock out these first 4 grass blocks here and put in some obsidian right there. Additionally, let's go ahead and go over to the other side here and knock out the 4 right there and put in obsidian there as well. That way, when our flying machine goes over this, we do not have issues in the future. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and grab our sticky piston. We are going to put a sticky piston right there looking this way, followed up by a regular piston right there. We're going to swing around here to the back side of this build, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have a sticky piston right there, followed up by a regular piston right there. From here, we need to get our dispensers in place, so we're going to grab a couple of temporary blocks and place them around this observer like so. We're going to put our first dispenser on that block, our second one there, and our third one right there. From here, we can knock back out those temporary blocks, and we can come around here and do the same thing. Now on this side, we're going to have to put an extra temporary block so that we can get our dispenser over here beside that, like so. We'll knock out that, and we'll put two temporary blocks in right here and right here, so that we can now take our dispensers and look them up and place them into that. So at this point, this is our flying machine in place. So if we simply flip this lever right here, sends our flying machine off, we're going to go ahead and flip that lever back on. So when it comes back over here, it will redock. We're going to make sure that our flying machine now goes all the way across here, hits the other side, and returns. And just like that, our flying machine is now in place. So at this point, we can go ahead and get our sheep in place, and we can load all of our dispensers up with shears. So as you can see here, we now have our sheep in place, and we have our dispensers all loaded up with shears. So if we were to send this bad boy off here and make sure to flip that lever back as well, we will see that all of these beautiful sheep will slowly get sheared. Now, of course, as this thing flies over, two of them activate on this side, one on the other side. And then, of course, when it flies back the other way, the opposites activate over there. But as you can see here, it's very unique. And at this point, this farm is operational. Though I will add that we have one more step that we need to do to this farm. Because we have 32 sheep into a spot here, as you can see, they are constantly eating down the grass. And we need to increase the speed of which the grass can spread back down there. So in order to help increase the speed of which the grass re-spreads down there, we're going to come over here to our red block corner over here, and we are going to start in this inside corner, and we are going to pillar up even with our slime block like so. Once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and bring this over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, 6 including the one in the center, and we are going to fill this whole area up above here inside with grass, until we end up with something that looks like so. Now from here, we're going to start at our red block corner again, and we're going to go over to this block right here. We're going to punch that block out, and then we're going to punch every other grass block out. Now, once we've reached the end here, we're going to go ahead and skip the next row, go over and skip over one additional block, so they are off center of each other. And we're going to punch out every other block through here. Of course, once we get here, skip that row, come over and do the same thing. Now, I just know for a fact that this helps spread the grass back down below. I don't understand Minecraft magic. I don't even question it sometimes. I just do it. But by doing this, we are going to increase the chances of which the grass can spread back down there, which will allow our sheep to eat more often, which means that they can grow their wool back more often, which means we can increase the productivity of this farm just by adding in a few grass blocks. And just like that, that is this farm more or less done and dusted. If we take a look here, just at a couple of times that it's already flown across here, a look at the amount of wool we've got from that. Additionally, from here, if you would like to make this more AFKable, where you don't have to flip a switch on or off, that is relatively simple. We're going to add in a couple of building blocks like so, and we're going to put a pressure plate right here. We're going to go ahead and break off our lever here, and we're going to put in a redstone torch right here. So of course that sent the flying machine off as soon as we broke the lever, but as it returns, it will now be locked into place because it's going to be powered by this redstone torch right here. So as the flying machine comes back, it is now parked and it is in place. Now this flying machine is purely AFKable. If you were to come over here and land on top of this thing and stand here, this thing will now stay powered and keep going back and forth for as long as you were standing on this pressure plate. Of course, you could build you an AFK box, get everything situated out, and of course you could put you in the ultimate sorting system down there. I would recommend a Mad Hatter sorting system for any storage system that you were going to do for this farm, because let's face it, the ones that are built for Bedrock seem to work better for a Bedrock edition as well. Additionally, from here, if we want to add in a circuit where we can refill our dispensers with shears, that's relatively easy as well. If we were to grab a couple of hoppers and chests, let me show you how to do that. So once we have our hoppers and chests in place, we would simply place a hopper going into the side of that dispenser there, an additional hopper right here, and we're going to pull an additional hopper over here to the side. From here, we're going to go ahead and place a hopper going in there, a hopper going in there, and two more alike so. So now if we were to put a double chest up here and load this thing up with shears, all of our shears are going to end up down here inside of these dispensers. And additionally, you could do the same thing on the other side. So this farm completed. A big thank you to T-Man out there for coming up and showing this farm. It is a very unique design. I don't think I've ever seen a flying machine wool farm before. And I absolutely love it for the fact that it uses a lot less redstone. Let's face this, in the past, if you were to have a wool farm that has 32 sheep, you're pretty much going to need 32 dispensers. And then on top of that, you need 9 shears per dispenser. That can get very expensive and especially really annoying on the refill process as well. The only negative that I think I can come up with for this farm is if it's unloaded while the flying machine is running. But actually, that's going to be relatively easy to fix with this one. You would just need to update the observer to see that the thing needs to move once again. That being said, and that being covered, I do hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial and episode of a Farm of the Week. If you have any ideas or suggestions for future Farms of the Week, please let us know down in the comments section. And if you have any questions about this farm here, let us know as well. But as I said right there, that's where we're going to go ahead and call this one the Farm of the Week. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like down below. If you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing. But on that note, that's where we're going to call it. We will see all of you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. T-Man, are you going to turn and wave to the people?